to episode 2 of Do Better Dietitians. Based on this behavior, I feel like there needs to be a swear word in this title, but my house still smells like poop even though there's no poop in it, so at least the ambiance fits. Today we have a dietitian telling you that you're addicted to foods that you're not and telling you to remove entire food groups from your diet without a medical need.
Is that gluten and dairy are also addictive. And I'm not just making this stuff up. This is backed by multiple studies, like this one, and this one. To put it simply, we have gluteomorphins and caseomorphins. And these are proteins from gluten and dairy that react with the opioid receptors in our brain, which has the same effect as opiate-like drugs do. That's why I tend to recommend a gluten and dairy-free diet for my clients, even if they don't have celiac disease, gluten intolerance, or an intolerance to dairy. Addictions to gluten and dairy is a very real thing, and you might benefit from removing it from your diet even 80% of the time.
2 quick points she brought up in the video that I cropped out to save time. The first is that she blamed tiredness after eating on these harmful chemicals in gluten and dairy. So there's a multitude of reasons why people may get tired after eating, including the stimulation of your parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest, the biochemical changes that occur in your body after eating, including digestive hormones, increases in serotonin, blood sugar changes. If you feel like that's an issue for you, make sure you're maintaining a regular sleep schedule, a consistent circadian rhythm, exercising regularly, and balanced meals. So enough protein, fiber, and healthy fat. But blaming it on these chemicals in gluten and dairy is kind of ridiculous. She also said that 75% of the American diet is composed of gluten and dairy-based foods. Well, have you been to the grocery store lately? Produce and meat are not exactly cheap. Dairy is accessible. It's a great source of protein, calcium, and vitamin D. And the most accessible foods in the country are grain and flour-based foods, which gluten. The glaring issue in this video is that it is wildly unethical for a medical professional to tell people to remove these food groups without a medical need, especially when there is research stating that these food groups are correlated with positive health benefits. Exhibit A, thank you Dr. Ids for finding these references, so I'm going to use them. This meta-analysis of 27 studies showed that dairy intake was protective against cardiovascular disease and stroke. And this study took healthy women and put them on a gluten-free diet and found that their new gluten-free diet was absent in many healthy vitamins and minerals. Just because a product says gluten-free doesn't mean it's nutritionally superior, and many times it's the opposite. More variety in one's diet is always a better thing, and unless you are allergic to dairy, or you have celiac disease, or you have intolerances, removing them is not better for your health. And any dietitian worth their salt would never tell you to remove a food group unless you have a legitimate need. And with how atrocious grocery prices are, this just adds insult to injury. Videos like this make me embarrassed to be a dietitian, and being a dietitian with twins, I don't even have words. No. Just no.